Where the fuck is the rain? I was promised rain. I was promised thunderstorms. I was promised a wet race. Don't ever trust the weatherman. He has no idea what he's talking about. He is blowing it out of his ass. How is everybody? I think I'm live now. How are we doing? Turn15 channel. My name is... What? My name is what? My name is... Who cares? Make one up for me. Send me one through and that'll be my name for the rest of the show. How you doing out there? Hope you're having a fun Saturday day, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, whatever it may be. Sunday morning over here it is now. Brazil, sprint race. Fucking hate sprints, but you know what I do love is a race in Brazil, Interlagos. Fantastic track. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's like a little cauldron of fun. What is it, 14, 15 turns, something like that. 15 turns, eh? Oh, down there. There we go. Sounds like fun. Anyway, great track, great layout, very classic track. It's narrow, it's very, very bumpy. They've just resurfaced the track for this year, and it is bumpy as hell. I don't know if it's quite as bad as Austin, because I haven't driven the fucking thing, haha, but very, very bumpy. You could see that yesterday in practice and in the qualifying. A lot of cars really hitting the skids out there, so there's going to be a whole lot of ride height fuckery. Hello, got a little visitor down me here, just out of sight of the camera. Don't worry, it's one of these. Actually, loving this jacket. Bit of a Joe Guan Yu support today, and he needs all the support he can get because he's almost out of Formula One and he's starting from the pit lane today. That seems like a good time to announce where everybody is. Piastri on pole, Norris second, McLaren 1-2. That's great news for them. That's really, really what they need. Ferrari is catching them in the Constructors' Championship. They're not getting as close, I think, as they could or really should be to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Norris needs to win today. Norris needs to win the rest of the season out, and he needs Piastri to be the wingman that he was not in Hungary and that he was not in Monza. He needs Piastri to help him out today. It's Piastri on pole, Norris second, Charles Leclerc third. Again, the Ferrari resurgence is very real. It looks very, very good right now for Ferrari. Verstappen fourth, great effort, great lap out of Max, just hanging in there. It's a bit like 2009 this season, I think, when Jenson Button won, I think, 6 of the first 7 races and then didn't win again, and just managed to eke out a championship against Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel. It's got a lot of, seems a lot like that championship more than, I mean, who knows, it might even be a repeat of 07 where Norris comes from forever back to actually snatch it at the death. We'll see. It's a fun championship this one's turning into, actually. So anyway, Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. Yes, hello, I see you down there. Sainz, Russell in 6th, then Gasly 7th. Another good qualifying for Gasly, up in 7th. Lawson in 8th, Albon in 9th. The Bearman, Ollie Bearman, in 10th. Filling in for Kevin Magnussen this weekend. He's been ill, and this being a sprint weekend, he missed the first day of practice, which also includes sprint qualifying. So, okay, keep Bearman in there for the sprint race, but then do you really chuck K-Mag back in for qualifying and a race without anything else? Nah, probably better to just let Ollie do his thing. K-Mag's half out the door already. The team knows it, he knows it, so, you know, why fuck around? Hamilton 11th. Not been that quick. Hulkenberg 12th, Perez 13th, so the Perez struggle session continues. I think we might be getting near the end of this saga with Checo Perez. I tell you what, if Checo is there next year, I will probably have a bit of a laugh because, I mean, I don't think he'll be there next year. Even though he's got a deal for the next 2 seasons, I get the feeling Red Bull are basically sick of his shit. I've heard that he might be getting replaced after this weekend. I don't know how much credence I would pay to those rumours, but it's very clear Checo's in trouble. Red Bull is now in trouble. They dropped to 3rd in the championship. Not great for them. Colapinto 14th. That's the name I'm hearing. Might actually be heading to Red Bull after all. Either Red Bull or, more likely, Visa, Cash App, Racing Bulls, RB, fucking Toro Rosso, Minardi, whatever you want to call them. Bottas in 15th. Great effort from Bottas, actually, putting that car into the giddy heights of 15th place. And then Ocon 16th. Tsunoda 17th. Tsunoda's really gone off the boil lately. A lot of bad luck, bit of bad strategy. just when he really needed to shine. When that Checo seat is just shining there and waiting for him, Tsunoda really needed a good end to the season, and he sure as shit ain't getting it. Had a great start to the year, enough to basically chuck Daniel Ricciardo out, but the end of it, not looking great. Alonso, Stroll, Joe, all starting from the pits. Aston Martin, bad qualifying. I think they were out in Q1, sprint Q1 anyway, so they've elected to make some setup changes, start from the pits, and Zhou Guanyu starting, like I said before, dead last in 20th from the pits. Not really expecting much out of Zhou Guanyu for the rest of the season. I don't think he'll be in that seat next year. It's still not been announced. It's fucking November now, and we still don't know who is going to be driving that seat, or going to be sitting in that seat and driving that car next year. Which is, I mean, the Sauber team, or Audi really, they've had a late change of team principal. They're having still more staff turnover and staff changes and things like that. I hope they're slowly getting their shit together, but they've missed out on Carlos Sainz. That was their big target for that seat. Kind of everybody's kind of turning them down, but who knows? Either way, I've heard... who's the Sauber Junior this year? I think it's Zane Maloney. Ain't no fucking chance. I've heard Colapinto linked with that seat as well. I've also heard Mick Schumacher. His name is being thrown around now. Bottas was apparently close to that seat, but it was supposed to be confirmed during one of the last 2 4-week breaks, and it never happened, so I guess that's all just gone cold. It's a pretty dangerous game of musical chairs that half of the grid has found itself playing now, in that a lot of the seats have dried up, and well, sure as shit, we're going to be saying goodbye to a few people. I'd be shocked if K-Mag, if we see him again in Formula 1. I'd be kind of shocked if we see Joe again in Formula 1. I'd be probably pretty shocked if we see Bottas again in F1 next year. Although if we see Mick Schumacher back, you know, who knows? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Although I get the feeling if Joe falls off the grid, not Joe, well, probably Joe as well, but if Bottas falls off the grid now, that's the end. Not a whole lot of news, actually, in the last week. There's been a whole lot of crying and whatnot about Max Verstappen's driving standards that we saw last week out in Mexico. His, how do we put it, Schumacher-esque defensive driving. And by defensive driving, I mean just full-blown, well, I think we all know. He's gone hyper-aggressive now. Very, very hyper-aggressive, which he was last doing in 2021, which, you know, this is how he races. This is how he wants to win championships. This is how it's won him a championship before, so it works. It's won Schumacher championships before. Senna was a lot the same, you know, when... Ooh, as we get underway on the warm-up lap. Fantastic. So, green light there. And I get the feeling... There we go. So I just got to reset my timing screen here. Looks like everybody's getting away pretty well. So yeah, what was I saying? Max Verstappen, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's kind of predictable, actually. I mean, I could kind of see this 2021 at this venue. He was running Lewis Hamilton off the road at turn, what would that be, 4? Yes, I know, right? Running Lewis off the road at turn 4 and basically being a bit of a cheeky shit. I mean, it's how, like I said before, it's how he wins championships, and it's done well for him in the past. I've got to get this thing under sync. You know, it's getting a bit desperate, actually, for Max Verstappen, and I think part of that is because the car has completely fallen off. It's definitely not what it used to be. The old grey mare is getting old and kind of fucked. And I mean, Max, I think, is driving as hard as he ever has. Unfortunately for him, his teammate is absolutely nowhere to be seen. There we go. His teammate's nowhere to be seen. Checo, I don't think, is doing his job, and it's probably going to cost him his job. As we're looking at the championship standings on the side of the screen, again watching the Sky broadcast here. So Verstappen 362, Norris 315. Norris needs a result. He needs a result today, tomorrow, and basically through the rest of the season. I think a DNF for Lando Norris is basically a death sentence for the championship fight. There's plenty of points left to go. there's only, what, 40, 45 or so points between them now, 47 or whatever it is. It's doable, but it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. If Max has a DNF, game on. If Lando has a DNF, game off. If they both DNF, again, more power to Max. He's ahead. He's got the momentum, at least leading into the championship. Momentum on the track is definitely with McLaren, definitely with Lando. Although lately it's been with Ferrari, but Leclerc is way too far behind to do anything. And Ferrari, however, just might sneak their way if they can keep it up. And they've won the last 2 races. If they can keep this sort of stuff up, it just might sneak their way to a Constructors' Championship, which would be the first time since 2008 for them. McLaren going for their first one since 1998. Mika Hakkinen, David Coulthard were the drivers, and if you've seen them now, you'll realise just how fucking long ago that was. Then again, I remember that that championship. I remember those days, and it doesn't feel like it was all that long ago. Excuse me. There. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Here we go. Out. Looks like a decent start out of Piastri, who's moving across to cover off Lando Norris, you cheeky bastard. So Norris definitely beaten into second. Staying in second, Verstappen side by side with Leclerc in the Ferrari. Can't quite get it done. Sainz has fallen back a bit, 5th and 6th. Sainz and Russell kind of minding their own business back there. Looks very clean, actually. It looks like a very clean start. A whole lot of sparks and plank dust flying up, but apart from that, it looks very, very neat. I don't think anybody lost a wing or anything like that. There's a little bit of side-by-side action back in the pack. That's Checo, that's Behrman, that's Albon as well. All of them looking very racy at the back there. I'm not... I love F1, but I'm not jerking off down here. This is just a cart. Oh, looks like into the hairpin. Oh, looks like a Haas has just got around the outside of Alex Albon. So who would that have been? Nico Hulkenberg. Surely. No, I think it might have been Ollie Behrman, actually. Have to see a replay of that. I mean, the timing screen definitely says Hulk ahead of Behrman, so it looks like the Behrman is actually putting the moves on Alex Albon there. So Hulkenberg's actually had a decent start, getting up ahead of his temporary teammate and up into the top 10. Well done, Hulk. Liam Lawson actually holding strong in 8th as well. I get the feeling you're going to see him in a Red Bull sooner than later. I really do. Now, what have we got? Checo on Colapinto for 12th place. So, decent start for Lando Norris, holding position at least, and holding position over Verstappen. I think that was very, very, very crucial for him. Piastri ahead. You know, it's very, very... I read this week from Piastri that he said he would be willing, well, overnight actually, that he would be willing to give the sprint race win to Norris for the championship. So we'll see if he does. But that start, how he just cuts across the track, I don't think he was doing that to give Norris a tow. I think he was trying to cover him off. So, Verstappen getting very close side by side with Leclerc into one. Not going to work from the outside there. Not going to work. Leclerc holds it ahead as they go through turn 3. The McLarens are kind of disappearing up the road 1-2. Verstappen having a look down the inside of Leclerc. See the thing is, Verstappen needs these positions, but he needs more than anything not to crash, not to DNF. He needs the points, and Leclerc knows this. I mean, Charles really driving for nothing here. He's just driving for individual glory. I mean, sure, they're in a championship fight, but well, a team championship fight. But Charles Leclerc, you know, I think he would not be that willing to move over for Verstappen here. Not that he would anyway, but I really don't think he's gonna make Max earn it. He's really gonna make Max have to earn it. So it's Verstappen on the radio. Take your time, Max. You know the game. Yep. So that's what they're saying to him. It's Max needs the points, but he cannot DNF. Absolutely cannot DNF. I think a DNF for Max, even though it's a sprint, it would be very, very bad because there's still decent points to pick up here. A DNF in the Grand Prix tomorrow or any Grand Prix for the rest of the season, I think could be catastrophic. Absolutely catastrophic, especially if Norris can get a podium or a win. It's a lot more tense. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. You know what I mean? Um, I remember Max was, what, like 60, 70 points or something like that I had at one point. Only a few races ago, actually. And I was saying, even on this channel, I was saying, ain't no way, there's no way he can be caught. So just a replay of the start here. Look at Piastri just move right across, cover off Lando, then force Lando to the outside. And, Verstappen actually, big lock up into one, almost went straight into the back of Lando Norris. I wonder if maybe he should have just left off the brake a little bit and done it, If he's doing the Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal his way to a championship, just commit to the bit. So Max, we'll see. It's a decent angle here from the inside of turn one. Just how close he got to Lando. That's very, very close. Oh, that's very, very close. I don't think Max is a dirty racer, you know what I mean? I mean, he could have taken Lewis out at Abu Dhabi in 21, and he didn't do it. He raced to the end. I mean, the circumstances around that are, a different thing. Bit of a struggle street start for Ollie Behrman there, actually. Just a replay of the start, and then a replay of Behrman going around the outside of Alex Albon. Good work. I think Max is a very aggressive racer, though. I don't think he's dirty. I think he's very, very aggressive, and maybe a little bit too aggressive sometimes, but I don't think he would intentionally wreck somebody. So here comes Charles Leclerc on the McLaren. So Piastri's not really leading the way here. I mean, he's leading, but he's not really getting away from anybody here. Lando Norris saying, yeah, I'm close. So it's kind of hard to orchestrate getting Norris past Piastri here without Leclerc following him through. They're going to have to be clever about this. I know McLaren, the team, will want Norris ahead of Piastri. I get the feeling they might have just left this too late in terms of a championship fight. I mean, Max is still fourth. Fallen back to, a second or so behind Charles Leclerc. Just under a second. So he's still got that DRS just to keep him around about there. Sainz sort of falling back in fifth in a little bit of no man's land. So here we go. 6 laps, or working lap 6. Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Russell, Gasly, Lawson, Hulkenberg, and Behrman in 10th. Perez 11th, then Albon, Colapinto, Hamilton down to 14th. Jesus Christ, Lewis, come on. Now it's Norris radio, just keep an eye on Leclerc behind, so they're very aware that Leclerc is coming. And Charles will go for it. He doesn't give a shit about the championship, he just wants those wins. So Checo having a look at Behrman. So Verstappen fastest lap now. I mean, fuck, he's on the move. Look at him. Only half a second now behind Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, who has fallen more than 1 second behind Lando Norris. So now the McLarens are... I would imagine they're going to start eking this sort of gap away. Just try to make it a little bit safer to orchestrate that position switch. Not sure what we're doing here, mate. I thought we spoke about this Norris radio. So again, Oscar Piastri, he's kind of playing by his own thing. This is what I've been tell you what, this is what I've been talking about for the last few races. I think really since Hungary, but also at Baku and in Monza. The team dynamic here is very, very interesting. I think you've got 2 young guys who are both really eager to establish themselves as the number one. They are both keen as mustard to be the number one driver of that team, and I get the feeling Piastri will not be bothered, not even at all, if Lando Norris does not win this championship. Absolutely cannot be fucked. If they're Constructors Champions, that's great, good for them. But Drivers Championship, I mean, Piastri's seeing it as, hey, it's a McLaren win. That's what we want. I think McLaren got it wrong by not putting their foot down when they could have. They could have done it in Hungary when Lando ended up ahead of Piastri. through pit stop fuckery, and they ended up switching him back. And I remember that day they said, you will need Piastri in this fight for the championship. You will need him, remember that. And then we had Monza afterwards, where Piastri basically chopped Lando in half and totally compromised his race, and they lost the win there. Alright. Norris is starting to sound very dismissive on the radio for McLaren. I don't think he's got a lot of faith that these guys are able to control what Piastri is going to do, and I don't think they can control what Piastri is going to do. I mean, of course not, he's driving it right now, but once again, we're talking about McLaren team dynamics, where it really just should be as clear as it is at Red Bull or Ferrari back in the day with Schumacher, Barrichello, where, or even Alonso and Massa, if one is ahead of the other and they're going for the championship, move the fuck out the way. And look at Norris now starting to fall back. Ooh. Not good. Not good for Lando. See, the big problem for Lando is it's not just Leclerc behind him, Verstappen's coming with him. Ooh. Oh, Checo. Side by side. And is that Bearman going past Nico Hulkenberg? I think it was. Into turn 1. It was. Well done, Ollie Bearman. Oh, Perez on Hulkenberg as well. That's a decent pass into 4th place. Not a 4th place, rather, into turn 4 for 10th place. Yeesh. Checo, fuck, mate. Fuck. I mean, I love Checo. I've always been a big fan of Checo, but this past couple of years has just been... I just don't think he's the man for the job. He's not the man that they need. What Red Bull desperately need is another driver who is up there with these 4 right now, being able to do something, either challenging at the front, backing up Max, maybe giving him a tow or something like that. I don't know. They need somebody else. Piastri, give Lando DRS. Oh, that's radio to Piastri. So they're telling him fall back a little bit. Now Norris is 0.7 seconds now behind. It's a bit of a slinky effect with these front 4. They're sort of out and then back in and then out, then back in. I get the feeling Piastri would honestly rather eat a live goldfish than give Norris this win. I don't think he wants to. And this is going to be fascinating. Next season, when McLaren, as I'm predicting, and this is my lock of the century of the week, I think most of these cars, they're going to be updated. Maybe somebody's going to throw a Hail Mary and actually bring a substantially updated car, but I think most of these, it's going to be a bit like 2021, where they ran kind of the same car, because there's such a big rule change coming for 2026, and that's where a whole lot of teams are going to be looking at. I know Williams has already said quite openly that they're just throwing next year, and 2026 is their main focus, as it's a replay of Ollie Bearman making a pretty stock standard pass on the inside of Nico Hulkenberg into turn 1. Well done, Bearman. My favourite superhero. And then Checo Perez going down the inside of Hulk in turn 4. It's a good pass, actually, so well done, Checo. It's a shame it's for 10th, though. I mean, I don't want to be like clowning on him that much. I think he clowns on himself a lot, but fuck, I mean, it's fucking painful just seeing this race after race, you know, like you want to see him improve and get back to, like, Baku was such a massive step back in the right direction. That's what they needed out of him. They needed that basically every round, and they have not seen that. I mean, China really, I think, was the last time he was even on the podium, and even in Baku he fucking crashed in the end. Either way, I think a lot of the current form that we've got here will translate into next year, at the very least at the start, and may well be through it. I think McLaren are going to be strong. I think Ferrari are going to be strong. I think Red Bull should be thereabouts, but they are bleeding a lot of decent stuff, so we'll see what the wash-up is from all of that. Mercedes, they're going to need something because they're still not in this fight yet. So we'll see how they do. But if McLaren are the class of the field in the first few rounds, and maybe even for the whole championship next year, it's going to be a hell of a dynamic, because I get the feeling these two guys probably don't really like each other. It's just an ultra competitive environment, this sport. And Piastri has come in to Lando's playground effectively, and is now starting to play with all of his toys and kick sand around and do whatever he wants. I don't think Norris is very happy about it, but again, he's going to have to start living with it. The only way he can do it, that he can live with it, really, is to beat Piastri, beat him down. And he sure as shit ain't doing that. And it's, what is this? Checo Perez getting by Ollie Bearman. Oh, that's a nice little dive bomb move in a turn 4 by Checo. So up to ninth. Almost a point. And the next one in line for Checo is Liam Lawson. Okay, this is going to be fun. Lap 13 out of 24, so 12 laps to go, including the one that we're on. Verstappen very, very close to Leclerc here, rather. Very, very close. Leclerc taking a very tight line through turn 3. Verstappen with the DRS. Leclerc covers the inside. Max can't quite get it done. Follows him through turn 4. Not this lap. And again, Piastri, the gap was over a second. Now it is half a second to Lando Norris. See, they need Piastri really to change position here, right now, while Verstappen is taking some time out of Leclerc. I mean, if it were me, that's what I would do. Actually, if it were me going for the win, I'd probably tell Lando to do one. Like, you think you're that quick? Fucking get by me then. Ah, look at Max go. This is always when he's at his best. Lando roasting Charles Leclerc on his radio as well. Ah, bless that man. He's a full-time F1 driver, part-time comedian. And I'll tell you who's having a pretty decent race so far is Pierre Gasly. The Alpine is a very average car and it's still sitting right there in 7th. Perez, 0.3 seconds now behind Liam Lawson. I want to see that. I really, really want to see that. Because they had a very big bus stop. There was a bit of a war of words after Mexico. Lawson was very upset with Checo. Gave him the finger as well, which I totally missed on the broadcast. So Lawson staying ahead of Checo through turn 4, turn 5. So I think really the next proper chance Checo will have to get by is probably into turn 1. Unless he wants to throw something at the inside at one of these tight hairpin-esque corners. 0.6 behind, yeah. Checo's gonna have to try something soon. The thing is, Lawson is probably going to end up getting the seat. So if I'm Checo, I'm just fucking throwing it. You know what I mean? Like, just go for it. You got nothing to lose now. I mean, if he's already lost his seat, you know, that's it. One final act of defiance. Just throw it up the inside of Lawson and see whatever happens. Again, Piastri, Norris, 0.6 of a second. Leclerc, just under a second behind Norris. Verstappen, half a second behind Leclerc. This top 4 battle is so fucking intense. What is this? Replay on board. That's Fernando Alonso getting past Lance Stroll. For 18th place, Lawson, Perez. Oh, what's happened here? About a second behind. So it looks, I mean, just the way their names switched for a little bit on the timing screen. I think Checo's tried something on the inside of Lawson and it probably hasn't worked. Oh. This is a very fun track, I tell you. Yeah, I mean, sprint. I don't like the sprint because there's no pit stops here. There's no real strategy here or anything like that. But this today is very fun, and it's always this track that promotes racing like this. Leclerc now 1.5 seconds behind Lando Norris. Oh. Verstappen just fucked up that move on Leclerc as well. So just a little bit of a gap now. Piastri, Norris, half a second. Leclerc, 1.3 seconds. I mean, it's now or never, I get the feeling. Okay, so McLaren is saying they're going to hold position until the last lap, as long as that gap to Leclerc is like it is. I wonder if Piastri will just back him up a little bit. You know, penultimate lap, just maybe back Lando off just a little bit. You only need a few tenths. Back him up a little bit in the hairpin, and then suddenly, whoops, sorry Lando, can't let you by. So Lawson apparently... Norris saying he will overtake. This is going to be very interesting. This is just like Hungary. We'll see. We'll see what the wash-up is for McLaren, but the thing is, it will be very fun. Oh, here we go. Replay. So what was this? Checo on the inside of Lawson into turn 1, and yeah, just totally fucked up that dive bomb. Lock up, went wide. Lawson just took the position right back. So that's not going to do any favours for Checo's quest to get by Liam now that he's got a massive flat spot on his tyres. Leclerc now 1.6 seconds behind Lando Norris. I mean, this also makes it very interesting. Now, will Piastri play ball? Now, after Hungary, right, when they said you will need Lando for the rest of this championship, if this is what they meant, if Monza is what they meant, then, well, whoops. All right, so McLaren saying just hold position for now and try to get that try to get the gap to Charles Leclerc. Here comes Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc very messy out of turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Now Verstappen is side by side into turn 4 and he's already ahead. By the time they get to the corner, Max Verstappen up to third. Oh boy. Oh boy. Lap 18, so 6 to go. And Max is going to be pushing like a motherfucker to catch up to Lando Norris here. 1.6 seconds. We'll see how long that gap is. McLaren might regret not switching positions already. In their mind, Leclerc was going to hold third place the whole time, and then they would switch them on the final lap, but they weren't really banking on us that Max Verstappen could get by, as Albon gets by Nico Hulkenberg back there. Max could get by Charles Leclerc, and now gunning for Lando Norris. Now, does that Red Bull have enough left in it to get near the McLarens? Because if it does, this kind of fucks McLaren's plan entirely. 1.4 seconds right now. They're really going to have to up the pace McLaren now. 1.6 seconds, so they're sort of holding it so far. It's only been about a lap though. The thing is that it gets to the point where if Verstappen gets within DRS range, they're basically... I don't know if they will be able to switch the positions without Max getting involved. Verstappen radio, come on, let's chase him down. Kind of a no-brainer, that one. Liam Lawson, by the way, who is still ahead of Checo Perez. And they both hold up right behind Pierre Gasly, so... in a way, it's a shame that this battle is so intense because it looks like that's going to be a really fun fight back there as well. Just a replay of Lando sliding his car through. Oh, looks fantastic, that does. Absolutely brilliant. Just those slow-mo shots where you really see the drivers working, really wrestling with the wheel. Verstappen, we believe, is faster than Leclerc. Yeah, no shit. So that was radio to Piastri. I think that is code for let Lando by before Verstappen catches up. Although Verstappen's now 1.8. I'm not sure how much that Red Bull's really got in it. Speaking of how much a Red Bull's got in it, here is Checo Perez going down the inside of Lawson into turn 1. Is he going to make it work? It looks like he's gotten it done. Alright, Checo nailed it. Well done. Now, what's Liam Lawson going to do? He's still got the DRS. God, there's a big gaggle of cars at the back here. Oh, is that... Who's that? That's Nico Hulkenberg. Looks like his engine's about to blow up. Engine smoking like Flavia Briatore back there. So, replay here. This is Lewis Hamilton. Looks like he's going to be getting by Franco Colapinto here. So Colapinto, oh, a big slide in turn 3. A little too much inside curb and it just washed the car out across the track. Yeah, Nico Hulkenberg is out. So the engine looks like it's given up the ghost. Whereas just outside of turn 11, Hamilton on the inside of the Bearman and he's through. So Lewis Hamilton up to 11th. Fuck, I tell you, I get the feeling Hamilton cannot wait to get out of that Mercedes and into this Ferrari. So, working lap 21 of 24. Is Nico Rosberg going again? Nah, surely not. That car's going to be dead. I think he's just kind of gliding it down the hill there. I wonder if they're going to throw a safety car. They're kind of obliged to. Lap 22 of 24. 3 laps to go, including the one we're on. The thing is, if they throw a safety car, fuck, man. Norris is stuck. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. I think McLaren know that. Swap positions, and there, Lando goes through. And Piastri lets him. Well, I'll be. This is a bit like Hungary for a point. Like, you just start to wonder, I wonder if he will let him by or not. Oh, Piastri now. Verstappen 0.2 seconds behind. Fuck. Now 0.4. Oh, look at Max. Absolutely going for it. It's going to make him pay. Radio to Piastri saying, thanks, mate. Yellow flag there. Max can't overtake, but now they're back under the green flag. They're just letting the race go ahead. I mean, the car's offline. It's very retro, that. Virtual safety car. All right, there it goes. And you know what? It's probably going to be a virtual safety car through the end of the race. So Norris, Piastri, Verstappen. Now the wash-up becomes, if you're a conspiracy theorist, why do they wait for McLaren to switch position before the virtual safety car? Probably that's just the way these things work out sometimes. Ah, man. Fuck, I feel like Haas has just kind of robbed us of a decent finish. No, well, that's racing sometimes, isn't it? So, virtual safety car, lap 23 has just started. I get the feeling that's the end. It's probably just going to virtual safety car over the line over the next lap and a half. So, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Gasly, Perez in 8th with the final point in the end, then Lawson in 9th, Albon 10th, Hamilton 11th. Ugh. Yeah, didn't really get anything done. No positions lost or gained. Well, really, positions lost and then gained back, but it didn't move him anywhere. Hamilton started 11th, finishes 11th, assuming his car makes it over the line. Then Bearman 12th, Colapinto, Ocon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Joe, Alonso, Stroll, 18th and 19th for Aston Martin. Fucking Christ. Alright, so Max Verstappen complaining that Oscar Piastri might be driving quite slow for the virtual safety car. Oh, you know what? Is that Haas really off the line there? My goodness, I didn't think they'd be able to get this race restarted. Doesn't look like that Haas is really covered there. It looks like it's just kind of sitting still on the other side of the barrier. Like, it's not really hidden from where a car could end up finding it. Well, lap 24 has just started. We may end up getting this shit restarted, but I do wonder. I just assume, looking at where that car was, that that's probably the end of VSC is ending. Wow, we're going to have almost a whole lap. But only really one or two overtaking opportunities to get it done. Max looking down the inside of Piastri already, like his dentist. Oh, Piastri's got him covered into turn 4. Oh, wow, that got really hairy for a bit. That's what she said. Norris, Piastri, Verstappen. Look at that. Colapinto spanking the bear man on the restart. Colapinto, I'm hearing a lot of word, might actually end up in a Visa Cash App RB car next year, which is bad news for Isaac Hadjar, but very, very good news for Franco and all of his fans. Now, Max Verstappen still holding it. Nah, surely. There's really nowhere to pass from here to the end of the race. Yeah, I think that'll be it. That should be it. Which I think this is the first time Max has lost a sprint this season. Lando Norris wins. Piastri second, Verstappen third. That's your top 3. And then Leclerc, Sainz 4th, 5th, Russell 6th. Gasly 7th, Checo Perez right behind him. Won't be able to pass, surely. Going to drag race to the finish, and it is Gasly 7th. Perez with the fastest lap in the end in 8th, then Lawson 9th, Albon 10th, Hamilton 11th, Colapinto 12th, it looks like. I mean, the rest, what have we got? Ocon, Bearman, Tsunoda, Bottas, Joe, Alonso, Stroll, and Hulkenberg, the only DNF. None of those positions really matter because there's no points involved. So, Norris, Piastri, a little bit more tense than I think it needed to be, and I think that all started with Piastri just cutting straight across Lando Norris at the start. I wonder if that was really described in the brief, if they said don't do that, or, you know, who knows. The problem with that is that you always run the risk that your teammate's going to end up wiping out into you, a bit like what happened to the Ferraris at Singapore in 2017. So to Piastri to do that, Piastri doesn't really sound all that happy that Norris has been let through. Well, what can you do? So, Norris gains 2 points, I think, on Verstappen. Well, it's a good result for McLaren. They pull further away in the Constructors' Championship. Verstappen, again, a good result because he's managed to limit the damage. If McLaren was going to win, and McLaren looked like the class of the field so far this weekend, you know, like as long as he's third, he's minimizing the bleeding. That's all he can do. He's going to be bleeding points probably for the rest of the year. I get the feeling he may, in the next 4 Grand Prix, or the next 4 Grand Prix and 1 sprint, he may have at least a opportunity, who knows, maybe 2, to finish ahead of Lando Norris. Until then, it's just damage limitation, because odds are Lando's going to finish ahead of him, because that car is just so much quicker than the Red Bull right now. The best thing he can do is just limit the damage, and that's all he's done today, and that's probably the max that he could get. No pun intended. No, I said no pun intended. So, well done, Max. Ferrari, pace has kind of disappeared today. They've looked a lot quicker than that the last couple of races, so a bit of questions to answer there. Maybe the car's just not working that great on the medium tyres, or maybe they're having to ride the car a little bit higher than normal because of the bumps. Though it's bumpy in Austin too. Have to see what's going on there. Andrea Stella of McLaren was saying going into this weekend that it was probably going to be even match between them and Ferrari in terms of overall pace. Looks like McLaren's way ahead. How about that? And the guys are getting weighed. So that's it. That was his sprint race. That was 24 laps. That was pretty fucking fun, to be honest. Much as I hate the sprints, gotta love a good race. Verstappen VSC infringement noted. Now, was that the restart? Because he was very, very close to Piastri on that restart there. I wonder if they weren't that happy with it. Who knows? Who knows? I think this is going to be another fucking... another Max versus the stewards moment. And we'll see what the wash-up here is, if anything happens. Anyway, tomorrow, Grand Prix, the full Grand Prix. Starting over here, I think at 4 a.m. I'm not sure what the fuck time it would be in all of your neck of the woods, because I don't know where y'all are, but, you know, the Grand Prix will start in 26 hours, 23 minutes, so how about that? Set your watch. I'll be back here talking into the abyss. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching along. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun. That was a fun race. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I don't really have all that much to add. After that, I think we've sort of run through everything. It's a sprint. I don't think it really needs a full debrief, because these races are just kind of pointless. There's no real strategy or anything either way. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you all next time. And this little guy will probably be with me, so say goodbye. Ta, thank you.